So yesterday we were talking about Sydney Sweeney's new ad campaign with American Eagle and the prevalence of tits and the way that people were framing it as a shift rightward in the culture for us to unashamedly celebrate a woman inviting men to look at her tits with a smile. And then it sort of snowballed into a conversation about right-wing nostalgia posting.
Yes, they were asking what is right-wing nostalgia.
This actually is a post that went up before Sydney Sweeney's ad campaign came out, so it was kind of before its time, but this is from the Tasteful Lindy account on X. America in the 1970s probably afforded this lifestyle on one income.
My favorite is the one that always gets reposted of Al Bundy's house from Married with Children. It says, back in the 1980s, a man could afford this house on a shoe salesman's salary.
Well, in this photo, you see a young woman sitting on top of the hood of a classic car, and she has her cleavage out. Some people were saying that this is possibly AI generated because of the weird lighting on her leg.
I do feel that way about a lot of the stuff we see today. Like, a lot of it seems like it could be, if not AI generated, then just very good Photoshop.
The account replied to the tweet saying, "But there was no iPhone or central air. Keep them. You can have them." They're saying we would trade all of the material luxuries that we have today to go back to a simpler time when women were more attractive and cars were more attractive.
Well, it's like when you see the pictures. Affordable. It's like when you see the pictures of beaches at that time, and there aren't any fat people around.
Yeah, and then someone quote tweeted this post saying, 95% of right-wing nostalgia is just a picture of a woman with unbelievable honkers captioned, "This is what they took from us."
It really is. For the most part, a lot of those posts are like that.
Right-wing, we must return to the world of organic big bazoongas. Shit libs, don't fall for populist lies, Anon. The world of organic big bazoongas never existed.
It was all fake from the beginning.
So then this basically set off a domino effect where everyone was replying with examples of what they took from us.
The hilarious part is every single one of these, the top comment is like, "What's her at?"
This is the first one, which is obviously a photo taken with an iPhone, so I don't know what they're talking about. We didn't, like, lose women that have big
tits. At this point, I think they're just shit-talking.
Yeah, I mean, they're self-deprecating, I suppose. There were many more examples
This
here.
is my personal favorite.
Lara Croft in the original
Raider.
Tomb Raider. And then this one that says, "Worth pointing out that this tweet has inspired so many quote tweets, never goes mega viral if it was ass themed."
So these are the true thinkers of this generation.
The communists have been slain. We now live in a new golden era of gorgeous glands. Long may it rain.
Are we supposed to watch this video? I didn't watch the video. I don't know if it's safe to watch.
No, let's not.
Let's be safe.
Leave it at the Statue of Liberty with cleavage.
Look, I saw somebody saying that they were talking about cleaning the Statue of Liberty for America's 250th, right?
I like that idea.
You know,
I like that.
Then it'll look like the Statue of Liberty in Fringe, right? The Statue of Liberty in Fringe was like gold looking.
Can they make it shine like a penny again?
Probably.
Cool.
There were more, of course. This one comparing it to
what they took from us versus what they gave us.
Yeah.
And it's Elliot Page as the replacement.
Yep.
Very sad story. The world you grew up in no longer exists.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting some Freudian mommy issues vibes from that post.
Yeah. And then
Pamela Anderson.
This one feels unfair because it's the same person. And it's just 25 years have passed, or however many years have passed.
Apparently that first photo was taken in 2013. But regardless, I mean, okay, they took Pamela Anderson from you because time passed and she became a granny. Like,
other people do when they hit that age.
Like everyone does.
Yep.
And then, of course, the Ghislaine Maxwell photo.
Yeah, it's getting uncomfortable how much she kind of resembles Kathleen Kennedy sometimes, like a thinner Kathleen Kennedy.
I never saw that comparison until you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is that what 95% of right-wing nostalgia is? And what does it represent? What does it actually represent? Obviously, we know what it means on the base level of people being gooners, but does it actually represent a different ideal for American culture?
Well, what you were pointing out yesterday is that the appeal of Sydney Sweeney when she does these brand sponsorships isn't actually her tits per se being on display, because as I pointed out, we are constantly inundated with tits like literally everywhere. So it cannot just be the tits, right?
Yep.
It's, as you put it, her demeanor, the fact that she comes off as warm, inviting, affable, and doesn't have a posture of shaming the men who find her attractive, and doesn't say, essentially, sexualize me, but only on the terms that I've set for you, and if you step out of bounds, we get to shame you for it. So I understand that.
That creates a more open society to people where they don't feel like they're tiptoeing around you as a person, which in turn probably creates more open dialogue between people because they don't feel like anything they say or do could be a landmine. And that kind of feels like what we've set up for ourselves in society, not just in this context of like a woman's physical appearance, but in general, it feels like because of the age of the internet and because of the manner in which we've kind of, lumped people into identity groups and political affiliations, everything is kind of a landmine that you may or may not step on in relation to the world around you outside of the people that you're closest to. And what this kind of idea represents is a society that had not yet succumbed to such a serious tonality. Does that make sense?
I am following the argument.
It's hard to explain, but it's like, as somebody who grew up and lived through that time period, there was a different energy about the world before the kind of the tone of what we live in now.
Yeah. But what I was trying to say yesterday is that there has been a false dichotomy presented to us today.
Okay.
That the right has kind of surrendered to. The right has surrendered to a false dichotomy between, the pregnant trans man Calvin Klein ad versus Sydney Sweeney bath soap.
I mean,
and like, we have no other choice. There is another option. Society had and enjoyed and thrived with another option. And I would probably point you to the Dior new look, for instance. This is classic feminine beauty. There is nothing pornographic about it. And it's obviously appealing to both men and women. It's aspirational beauty standards that existed in a bygone era. And that is something that I would like to see us return to. Not, the man show playing videos of women in bikinis jumping on trampolines. That's actually what shitlibs enjoyed and celebrated in the 90s. So they're just still shitlibs who have the same exact value system today. There's nothing conservative or right-wing about it, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, that's one of the biggest problems right now is people get lumped into that category even though they wouldn't identify themselves that way. And if they do, it's because they've been bullied into it by people telling them, people who are just farther left than they are telling them that they're right wing, even if they're, by all, valid measures, they're not. And
with the conversation about shaming men's sexuality, and also just masculinity and like male virility in general, I agree that exists and there should be pushback on it. However, there's been another false dichotomy presented to men. So, for instance, the left has offered men one option to retreat into, which is the male feminist archetype. He's soft, he's fragile, he's, he paints his nails, he's non-threatening, and that's deemed an acceptable way to be man, right? But then on the right, I think that we should talk about the fact that there are archetypes for men on the right that are also non-threatening and I say the first one is a smaller portion, which is the elbow patch wearing, you know, G.K. Chesterton, autist, you know, like faux sophisticate, intellectual
can you
type.
give me an example?
Like, this is something I'm talking about because as a Catholic, I see a lot of it. It's just trad LARPing, basically. Yeah. Men who basically cosplay all the time as if they live in the time of like a G.K. Chesterton or a J.R.R. Tolkien, and they dress up and they smoke pipes and cigars and drink bourbon because those are like accessories that are seen as like traditionally masculine, but it's all a LARP. And then on the other hand,
it's like they drive their hybrid home, and it's like, why aren't you driving like a stagecoach?
Like there is an incongruency there. Yeah. And then on the other hand, on the right, this is a far more common and I believe more sinister one. I think that especially the men who are responding so positively to like the Sydney Sweeney of it all, online especially, aren't even as attracted to her tits as they are attracted to the idea of themselves being attracted to her tits. It's hard to explain, but they are retreating into an archetype of man that is basically a belching simpleton, Homer Simpson persona. Like, I think Shane Gillis perfectly personifies this archetype. Just, I am a stupid, you know, Philistine. I'm lowbrow. I'm trash. I walk around in basketball shorts with my big beer gut hanging over it and Crocs and a graphic T-shirt. And you know, I'm edgy and I watch UFC and I'm a brute. And they basically have walled themselves off from aspiration to anything higher than that intellectually, and have kind of romanticized this idea that like, yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm a brute. I'm a caveman, basically.
That feels to me like a lot to kind of attach to just that idea.
It's like, I like tits and beer. Like, I get that those are things men can enjoy, but it almost feels performative. The social media,
well, I mean that's going to be true of anything.
Performative.
By making the choice to like post about it, it's already performative from anyone about anything. The second you actually decide to take a screenshot of something or screen record a video, whether it be of Sydney Sweeney or whatever, you've made the decision that this is important enough for you to make a post and talk about it, right? So when I see it, I guess, and again, maybe it's just because I'm a dude from that generation, I see that behavior more as a way to signal to people a return to a world closer to what you described earlier of like the man show, when those behaviors perhaps weren't that guy's whole identity, but they were a part of his identity that wasn't shamed for being there. And because that's the main thing that's changed between, I guess, the late 90s and early 2000s and now, that is where the attention and the focus goes as a means of discussion. Like, I don't know if that's the idea of them reducing themselves down to a caricature, but it's taking one aspect of their personality that society has been unrelentingly telling them is wrong and then pushing back in a very pointed manner.
What it comes off like to me is reveling in being the object of contempt in our culture instead of aspiring to be something
but Sydney Sweeney
higher than that.
I think the point to them is that what Sydney Sweeney represents in like a video or a photo like that is that she is not approaching the people who are watching and enjoying the content with an air of contempt, so it doesn't carry the same label as, say, an OnlyFans model who posts pictures and then talks about the people that pay her bills like they're disgusting slobs, which does happen. Like, we've talked about that before. There's that kind of contrast about they don't even respect the men that spend money on them. Now, that could still be true of Sydney Sweeney, but it's not signaled in the actual material, which is something that they're catching on to, perhaps even without even realizing it.
Well, here's another note. You can like judge the health of any society based on how difficult it is to see a pair of tits. It's literally never been easier. And another reason why the male response feels so performative is because, you know, it literally, like, it is just a pair of tits. There's nothing special about it. You have that shoved in your face like literally 24/7 by the media. And to act like you're floored by it,
no, they're floored.
Just sounds like fake to me. And I understand you're saying that there's a distinction because of her demeanor, but it's like...
And the industries that pick her up, meaning that this isn't OnlyFans, this isn't feminist ideals, these are American Eagle jeans and what is Dr. Squatch? Is that for men specifically? Or is that, like these are things designed for men, which is, I mean, not American Eagle, but Dr. Squatch one, is that it's signaling to men that it's okay to like this without feeling as if it's overtly female empowerment, which is its own messaging, or shameful to look at, so you have to look at it in private.
I think ogling at tits like a caveman is shameful.
Well, I mean, the problem is then that is it's shameful and it's everywhere, but most of the time it's signaled as both shameful for men but an act of empowerment for women, which reinforces the divide between the two.
In reality, I would say it's shameful for everybody.
Well, that's probably the more accurate dividing line here is what one of them signals for women and what one of them signals for both of them.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.